A record number of bills filed, setting the stage for the session. But a big question remains: who will lead the Texas House?
We need to come together and frankly, quit all of this internecine fighting that's going on.
Why a former governor is weighing in and making the case for a bipartisan approach. Lawmakers pushed to block a death row inmate's execution. Now the Texas Supreme Court says they went too far. Why they could still get what they want. As Texas grows, counties are looking to acquire land to keep up with traffic and more. So what do you do if they come for your property? And how soon should you start to fight back against eminent domain?
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. Tuesday was the first day to file legislation for the upcoming session, and Texas lawmakers filed a record number of bills. Ryan Chandler looks into why this could be a sign of things to come when lawmakers get back to work in January.
Well, it's a big day after a long night here at the Texas Capitol. Some staffers camping out behind the Senate chamber all night to secure a spot in line. The pre-session sleepover, more symbolic than strategic. The legislature gives no favor for being first. But lawmakers are eager to get back to work, setting a record on Tuesday, submitting more than 1,500 bills, the most ever filed on the first day.
A lot of pent-up demand for legislation. Certainly Republicans have been emboldened by the election results here in Texas.
Some of the first filed on border security, aimed at restricting undocumented students from getting in-state tuition, requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote, and allowing Texas to negotiate border security with Mexico. Democrats ambitious on abortion and voting access, filing bills to create an exception for rape in the abortion ban and to allow electronic and same-day voter registration.
Typically what happens is you've got a handful of members who want to claim ownership on a particular subject matter, and so they will rush in order to get a low bill number.
But the legislative session is designed to kill bills, not pass them. Last year, lawmakers filed more than 8,000 bills. Only 1,169 became law, a success rate of less than 15%. Ryan Chandler, State of Texas.
One big factor in how the next legislature progresses has yet to be determined. House members will soon vote to choose the next House Speaker. Current Speaker Dade Phelan faces a challenge from Mansfield Republican David Cook. Democrats Ana Maria Ramos and John Bryant are also in the race. But with the GOP holding a 26-seat majority in the chamber, the Speaker's race is realistically between Cook and Phelan. Former Governor Rick Perry is working behind the scenes to help Phelan keep the Speaker's gavel. Ryan Chandler spoke with Perry about how he sees the race and what's at stake for the state.
Well, Governor Perry, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to get to talk to you.
You've joined Speaker Phelan's team, making sure that he wants to retain the Speaker's gavel. I want you, Governor, to take us behind the scenes in Speaker Phelan's office. That seems to be where all of the action is happening nowadays. How confident are you that Speaker Phelan will remain Speaker Phelan?
Oh, he's got the votes to be elected Speaker. I'm not concerned about that. What I'm trying to help these members focus on is, how do we move forward in the state? They had a great session last session. Obviously, one of the issues that's out in front of us is that of our public schools and school choice. I'm a big proponent of school choice, have been for 20 plus years. And I will suggest to you that these education savings accounts, that's going to go forward, that's going to pass this session of the legislature. And, just helping the members understand, here's the focus we need to have.
You say Speaker Phelan has the votes. A lot of people are asking where and who are those votes? We know, of course, Representative Cook has put out a list of 48 Republicans who've pledged their support to him. How does that stack up with your internal math? Will you be publishing a list of support soon?
I will suggest we'll just wait until the votes happen and see who was right. I'm not sure I could pick Representative Cook out of a lineup, but I'm sure he's a fine young man and wish him well. But he's not going to be the speaker when the gavel comes down.
Does the pathway to Speaker Phelan, I would assume it would run through keeping Democratic support and then supplementing with Republicans. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. I've been dealing with the legislative process for 40 years now. I came in January of 1985, and there have always been Democrats as chairs. When we had Republican speakers, I suggest that will continue to. We are a diverse state, and I think you sit down and you work with Democrats. I'm not going to change my philosophy. I'm going to keep my philosophy and my beliefs, but I'm going to work with you. I'll give you a great example. Representative Sinfronia Thompson. She's a female African-American, left-leaning trial lawyer from Houston, Texas. I'm a country boy, Anglo, male, and Republican. So,
right.
But we found things that we could work on together. And Representative Thompson, who she and I don't agree on a lot of philosophical things in the grand scheme of things, but we found places we could work together. And this was on child sexual trafficking when I was last session that I was governor in 2013. And my point is this: saying to the Democrats, we don't like you and you're banned to the hinterland, is bad public policy. And quite frankly, it's just a bad look. We're the Republican Party, we're the majority party, but we need to be open to other people's ideas. Talk to us. You're not going to run the show. You are not going to come and browbeat us into doing things we don't want to do. You know, Speaker Phelan has basically said, look, we're going to work with you. You're part of this. We're going to need your votes for constitutional amendments that require 100 votes, and there's not 100 Republicans. So you're going to have to work with the Democrats, find out ways to do it in a thoughtful way. This idea of Texas turning into Washington, D.C., and you know, we won't even talk to each other because you have the wrong initial behind your name. I think that's really bad long-term policy, and I know it's bad short-term policy. So I think Speaker Phelan properly has the right outlook. He's going to be the speaker, and we need to come together and, you know, and frankly, quit all of this internecine fighting that's going on. And what's best for Texas? That ought to be the question to everything that's out there.
Supporters of Cook are skeptical of Perry's claim that Phelan has the votes to be speaker. Newly elected Representative Mitch Little reacted on social media, simply saying, "Post the names." Ryan spoke at length with former Governor Perry, also getting his perspective on serving in the Trump administration and his thoughts on Texans who could join the cabinet. You can see the full interview now on our website. Just look for the link in this week's State of Texas story. A new twist in the legal battle to take a man off death row. Why the Texas Supreme Court is stepping in again, this time to let the execution continue. As Texas grows, counties are taking land for things like new roads and doing it more often. What you need to know if they come for your property, and how state legislators are taking a closer look at the law after our investigation. A daughter heads to Washington to continue her mother's work. How Texas's newest representative is honoring a decades-long legacy.